everyone, it's Erin here from Erin Elizabeth Designs, back with another Flosstube. Today I wanted to take you along on my finishing process. So if you are new here, thank you for stopping by. This is my channel where I talk about the designs I have out. New ones that are coming, ones that are already existing. I want to show you guys my designs, talk about them, inspiration behind them, show you finishing ideas, all that fun stuff. And if you are returning, thanks again for coming back today and stopping in and saying hi. So like I said in my last video, I have a few stitching projects that I've been holding off on finishing because I wanted to try and do some filming around them, just to kind of show you guys my process. It is not planned or organized or anything. I like to just come down into my creative space and pull things together and see what works. So I have a few kind of ideas just based off of finishing boards and different things that I found for the projects that I'm working on today. So I have, like I said in my last video, I have the watermelon home design to do a finish on. So that's this one here. Watermelon home, nice, fresh, fun design. Some cute little polka dots on the letters, a very nice bright watermelon. So I'm going to finish this one off today. And then we have the farm tier as well. So that'll be another finish that I do today as well. Don't mind my raw edges. I have them trimmed and ready to finish. I don't usually, when I finish for like board displays and stuff, if it's not going to be a traditional framing, I keep the edges a lot smaller, so a lot less margin on them. So anyways, for the home design, I had talked about possibly doing something similar to the Be Kind that's back here, where it's finished in wood canvas. So this is just one of those wood canvases that you can get. You can get them at Michael's, but I got this one at the dollar store. $2.50 Canadian at the Dollarama. So that's one that I finish inside the back of the frame. So typically you would paint on this front, but I like to paint or stain these and then on the inside here use this to put my finished piece, because then I can layer up the different layers of fabric and get some dimension to it. It's nice and has a depth to it, so it sits on any ledge without toppling over. And then you have a little ledge here that you can put some kind of finishing on, whether you want it to be like flowers and greenery or a bow, like this one here has a bow on the top. Just gives you a little space. You can do some decorative around the outside. So lots of fun options for that. So that's a possibility. Now, when I was there, they also had this size. So it's just a little bit taller. This is the 8 by 8 inch size, which fits really nice with the this size of stitch. So I have lots of stitches that are this size, and they're roughly around 60 by 60 for that finishing size. So that fits really nice in here with giving you allowance to have some different fabrics behind. So that's an option there, but I thought this size would be kind of nice because, oh sorry, I was just going to take it out of the plastic here. I'm so sorry, you guys. I should have done that ahead of time. I just realized there's a glare on that plastic. I apologize. I'm trying to be quiet here. Okay. There you go. Excuse me. anyways, this is a bit taller of a frame, so I thought, you know, that would be really cute. You could do your finish in the lower part and then have like a band up here for a ribbon and a bow, something like that. It would be really cute just to give you a different kind of a finish style. So that could be an option as well. So either way, two different size options just to kind of, this one just gives you some more freedom, whether you want to do, like I say, a bow there, or you could put it towards the top and do a bow on top, and then we could do some like flowers in the bottom. So that's a cute option as well. And then I found this there too. So this is just a nice bamboo tray. So this is a completely finished, very nice looking. It looks, you know, honestly, it was $2.50 Canadian at the Dollarama. But it's a really good quality finish for that. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to paint, stain, sand. Sometimes these have a little bit more of a rough finish to them. So sometimes you might want to sand it down just to give it a bit more of a polished look. But yeah, so this is something that's completely done and ready. Like I said, it's supposed to be like a little tray, which would also make a great little stitchy tray. But it is a nice little tray that you can put up on its side. Again, nice depth to it, so it would sit on a ledge, and you could just put a finish in there. And then again, have some space up here for whatever it might be, flowers, bow, all of the above. A nice option. So those are a couple for that kind of idea and concept. And then I also found a paddle there for $4. So this, it's got the saying on it, but I thought we could just paint over that. And I like the paddle shapes for doing your ribbon bows, some flower detailing, whatever it might be. And then you can put this on here at the bottom. Now this is a bit of a bigger paddle for this, but it does again give you a lot of space to really decorate and add some extra stuff to it. So I might go ahead and paint that and finish it up and see. We'll get this onto some mat board and layer it up with some fabric and kind of test out some different options and see what we think. I'm going to do everything with magnets and stuff. I'll show you guys what I'm using as I go through. And yeah, we'll maybe make it so they're interchangeable even. So maybe I'll do two. It's like when I sit down to do this, then I get these ideas of like, oh, well, that would be fun. That would be fun. And it's sometimes hard to choose which one to do. So it might be nice to do two different options, and I can take it on and off. And like I say, I have a lot of designs that I've done quite a few in this size range, so I could make these pieces interchangeable for the different designs depending on. And then next time I stitch up a new design, I don't even have to worry about a finishing board, so I can just pop it on and off and change it out for seasons. So that's a couple ideas and concepts that I had for those. And then we had the farm tier that I talked about doing a finish for as well. So this one, I told you I had a barn. I brought it here, fine. Found it. So it's a cute barn. And again, it's got some depth to it. So paint the inside, and then you could put the finish in there. You'd have some space for a little decorative up here. And then this is really cute little side piece. It would be super fun to do a little stitch to put in there of like one of the farm animals or something, an extra little stitch. But I don't think I'm going to use this one for the barn tier or farm tier. I'm going to use my lovely tiered tray Where did I put it now? Oh, it's put it right here, nice and easy for me to see, and then I go and miss it. The tier tray from Paisley and Polka Dots. So Julie from Paisley and Polka Dots did this tier tray display, and I absolutely love it. So I am going to go ahead and finish the farm tier, and then I'm going to put it on here, and then we'll see later. I'll try and do a staged photo to find a couple little knickknacks that will work on this shelf. So this is a nice, like I said in my other video, it's got a nice depth to it, so you can put some little decorative things on these ledges and decorate it to go with the different tiers. So such a cute little display. Really excited to get that one done. So we'll get that on some fabric mounted to fit this board, and then yeah, go from there. So I'm gonna try and flip you guys into like an overview so you can see what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and hopefully it'll all pan out and work out well. And like I said, not the most organized or planned or prepared or like this is my formula, but my creative process is gather the things and see what comes together out of the chaos. So I hope you guys enjoy this video, and I hope it's helpful in some way or another, and hopefully we have a beautiful display or two after we're done today. So thanks again for being here, and I'll be right back with you in the other filming style. All right, so we're going to start with the watermelon home today. And so first off, we are going to measure the design and see what size of a mat board we need to cut to mount it to. So I don't usually leave a ton of space around the edges. I like to kind of do a tight mat. And then I like to do a couple layers usually of fabric behind it. So I do have a couple fabric. I've got this nice pink that's got a little star on it that I thought might be kind of cute to bring out some of the pink in the watermelon. And then I have a polka dot, black and white polka dot as well, that kind of, it's got this design has the polka dots in the lettering. So I thought something like that might be nice as well to kind of go with it. And then I have pulled some ribbons. So I've got some checks, some stripes. So far just going black and white kind of. But yeah, I got a couple different options here that we'll just play around with things and see what comes together out of it. But yeah, first things first, let's cut that up, measure it out and cut that mat board and get that on there. Now, when I usually do my matting, I sometimes will do, I will stitch it on, but other times I do use hot glue. So today I'm going to be using hot glue just because it's what I have set up and ready to go. And for these smaller designs, sometimes I just find it quicker and easier to do the hot glue. But yeah, so let's get started on Watermelon Home. So I'm just going to make sure I got a rough idea of what size it is and then where I want to have the allowance. So we're going to go 5 by 5. So it's a nice border around it, like 5 by 5 just kind of just barely gives it space with where these flower petals reach out. So there is a little overlap of the design over the border line. So 5 by 5 is a nice size for that. So I'm thinking I'll probably just give it a smidge bit more breathing space. So let's do 5 1/4 by 5 1/4 for our first mat. And then I will just test that out and see what I think of it. And then if I want to trim it down a bit more, we can always do that. But rather be a little bit on the safer side than go too tight right away. All right, so we've got 5 1/4 by 5 1/4, nice and square. And we're just gonna put our design over that. And if the one thing that's really nice about stitching it on is you can have a lot more play with it. So you can kind of push it back and forth a little bit more. Once you glue it, that's that, right? So, and especially with something like with the straight edge here, you really want to make sure that you're not pulling it too much. This is a little bit more than I would normally go for something like this, but I think I'm gonna stick with it because I did choose both of the board options that I did choose are a little bit on the larger side. So I am hoping that, yeah, I want to have just maybe a little bit more border movement for that. This is definitely a learning curve trying to do this. So anyways, I am going to kind of play around with this until I think it's in a good spot. I go top and bottom, judging from the black to the edge. Is that about even? Black to the edge. Looks pretty good. I'm gonna flip it around and just do a little dollop and dollop of hot glue, and then we will go from there. So just push that and that, and then flip it over while it's still a little bit warm, and just make sure we've got it in a good position. And then we're going to flip it and do the same on the other sides there as well. All right, now I'm going to work it in to the corner. So we're going to pull that in tight onto the corner and get our corners nice and tight. For my corners, if I was sewing, I flip and push, and then I would tack it down and do a top stitch along there and there to kind of tack that in. But for glue, I'm going to do the same kind of idea. Pinch the corners together, and then we're going to fold it over, and we're going to do some glue there and glue underneath so that it tacks down nice. And then when we flip it over, we get a nice sharp corner with minimal bulk. Sorry, I'm kind of in and out of the frame there. I'm still getting used to this idea. So that is what we're gonna do for the corners. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. So I pinch it nice and close together. Do a tack on that side and some on that side. And then we're just gonna fold it down and give it a good press so that we get a nice corner. Now you can go and trim off whatever you want to. This one side is a little bit longer than the rest. So just take some of that bulk off of there. I don't do it too particularly fancy. You could absolutely put it down and get a nice proper border around. Like I say, sometimes I spend the extra time to do those kinds of things, and I will finish it off with stitching. But for this video, I just thought the hot glue is going to be a bit better of an option to show. Okay, so we're going to go through and finish the rest. Like I said on before, we're just going to put some glue down, and as we put the glue in there, we're going to pull it nice and tight and then pinch our corner and flip it down both ways with a little dollop of glue. So there you have it. We've got a nice, there's always a little bit of give. So if you ever wanted to just kind of like shift it a little, if it needed a bit of a tweak, you can kind of push it around and manipulate it a little bit to kind of lay how you need it to. But there you go. That is our home, watermelon home. So it is, you got nice sharp corners. Like I said, everything's laying pretty good there, not too much bulk. So, and the corners turned out wonderful. So there we go, home. All right, so now we're going to do a second mount, same idea as this one, but we're gonna do another one for the fabric layer. So if I was to finish it in one of these, you can see how much of a border there is. So this inside measures 6 3/4 of an inch wide. So this measures 6 3/4 of an inch wide here, and where our finished piece underneath is 5 1/4. So we've got 1.5 inches of play. So about 3/4 of an inch on either side. So that is, do we want to do 1/4 inch of one color and then 1/2 inch showing of another? That's probably what I'm thinking. So do I want 1/2 inch of the pink showing and then just 1/4 inch of the polka dot? Decisions. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know that this is the one I want to finish it on. Okay. So I'm thinking for today's video, let's go and do one of these, the bamboo boxes. So we're going to do a finish for this one, and then I'm going to make it, possibly make it interchangeable for the paddle. Yeah. Is that what I'm gonna do? Yes. Am I going to leave a bit of the back of the wood showing, or am I going to? So if I finished this right out to the, with fabric right to the edge for the backing, then when I took that piece out, it would, okay, I think I have an idea. So I think I'm going to do an insert for this because I do think I want to cover the full back of this with fabric. So I think I'm going to fit this back with the black and white polka dot, and then I'm going to attach my magnet on that, and then I'll put my piece with a layer of pink around it, and that'll be all glued together, and that'll be my interchangeable. So then the black and white polka dot will be kind of a base for this finish, and then whatever designs I want to pop in and out, I can do that with this. And then that way, when I bring it over here, it'll be this with the pink layer behind it and not the black and white on there. Yeah, I think I like that idea because I'm going to be doing some black and white ribbons probably, and then doing some floral for this one. So let's go ahead and do that. This I'm going to paint up, and then this one I'm going to do an insert for the fabric for the backing. Oh, talk about finding the perfect piece of mat board. So I just need to make one cut for this one. So there we go, that fits in there nicely, and then we'll just line it with the fabric, and then we'll get going on it. Okay, so I'm just gonna get this one painted before I get going on the other, so that it's got some time to dry in between. So I'm nothing too fancy. I am just using the craft glue from, or craft glue, my goodness. The acrylic paint, just an acrylic paint from the dollar store, and I'm just gonna put that on here, and it's probably gonna take a bit to cover this writing, but for the most part, this is gonna be covered with our design as well. So we will go ahead and get that going. And then I'm thinking of maybe doing some like black washing, distressing on this. We will see how that goes. So that is going to be our first coat. Like I said, nothing too fancy. I just did the top surface. I'm going to leave the sides because I think I'm going to do a black on the side, and then I'm going to try and distress, do like more of a rusticy wash of the black around the edges and stuff to kind of give it a bit more of a worn, weathered look. So we will see how this turns out. Like I said, those letters are going to be a bit to cover, so we're going to see what it looks like after dried one. You can already still see them, so I know it's going to need another coat, but maybe 2, 3, we'll see. So we'll put that to the side for now. Try and decide how much pink of a border we want. So I'm thinking we have about an inch on either side of the polka dot. So if we do a 1/2 inch pink, we will have about a 1/2 inch of the polka dot as well showing. So I think that gives us enough of a pink pop, and then we'll have the black and white background as well. So let's go with a 1/2 inch border on either side. So again, we are measuring this one at 5 1/4. So if we're doing 1/2 inch, we're going to be cutting a 6 1/4 inch. So 1 inch around, give you 1/2 on either side. So 6 1/4 for this one. We're going to go ahead and do that. So 6 1/4 by 6 1/4. We're going to go ahead and cover that with our pink fabric. This mat board has a little bit of, just a little bit of a bend. So I'm just going to readjust that. Okay. Now we're going to cover that with our fabric. And nothing fancy with this. I'm just gonna hot glue and pull it nice and snug on there. I am gonna put a dollop of hot glue in the center there, because then when I put the fabric on, it'll be attached to that. So then when I'm layering my piece on top of it, it's not just hanging on the tension of the fabric, it's actually attached to this as well. So everything will be nice and secured down. So we'll just do nothing crazy, just a little smear of glue there, and then just give yourself a little bit of fabric allowance. I am just gonna free cut this. So there we have it. This was a little scrap piece of fabric, so I didn't leave that much of an allowance. I would suggest leaving just a little bit more so it's a little easier to like pull, especially when it comes to folding those corners down. I did find it a little tricky on these two, especially just because there wasn't much to work with, but it doesn't have to be anything fancy. You can use your scraps up. Just trying to show you guys some alternatives to finishing your cross stitch off in a relatively inexpensive way, and a lot of times with stuff that you can easily find or that is even out of your stash. So there's a little finish. That mat board did have a little writing on it, and I didn't realize till the last flip here that you can actually see it through the fabric a little. So I'm just gonna, you probably won't see much of it once the other piece is on it, but I'm gonna keep that in mind for when I'm placing this as well. So let's go ahead and put the fabric on for our back panel. pop it in there. I'm gonna put some glue around and glue that one down. It'll be a permanent fixture. All right, so there we go. We've got our fabric lined little sign. I'm gonna decide if there's a I think this will be the up way for it. And then we're going to layer those and put that up in there. So I'm going to glue this, the home one, to the back of this in the center, and then we will do a magnet and metal connection for that, so that we can interchange this piece in and out, and then this can be a base for future projects. Do another quick take before it dries, and there we go. So got that on there. All right, so we got our two pieces. So I found these little metal pieces, rounds, from Amazon. I got these on Amazon. $6 I think for the pack, but they are just a magnet, like they're metal, so they're magnetic, and I like the idea of that because it's nice and thin. It does have a sticky back, but I generally just glue it down as well. So I've gone to using these for on my piece, and then a magnet on the board. You could do either way, really, it doesn't matter. I guess actually the magnet on the piece might be better, because then you could potentially magnetic that to, say, like a tin or something down the line. But these are those nice, really strong magnets, nice and thin. And then this again is a nice thin option, and it gives you the flexibility to move it exactly to where you need it. So it's not like a magnet against a magnet trying to compete. It can only be in one spot, right? With a magnet on a magnet, this allows you to get it exactly where it needs to be. So this has been working really good, and again, when they're together, it doesn't add too much bulk, which is nice, because then your piece isn't just like floating off of the backer. So that is what I've found that seems to work the best. So again, it doesn't really matter which goes where, but if this is here, then anything magnetic can attach to it, and then you've got your magnet here. So I think for this size, one should be plenty. So let's go ahead and attach it, and we will see how it works. It magnets in there, nice and strong, but like I say, you can shift it around so that we can get it exactly where we need it to be. So there it is, all layered up, super cute. I'm loving this finish. This is a really nice, for $2.50. And then like the one fabric I got at a garage sale, the other one was just a scrap. So, you know, it doesn't have to be a ton, but it really can come together quite nicely. So super fun. I think I'm gonna add now some details. Let's get out some ribbons and buttons and flowers, and let's play around and see what we want to do with this one. So here we go. So we got lots of different floral greenery options. This one, remember I had said maybe a covered button would be super cute. It might be too big for that. We'll see. And then I've got all these beautiful pink ribbons. And we've got some of our more basic black and whites, some bigger ribbon. So let's get these out and see what we come up with. It is a wired ribbon, so both of these options of ribbons I did get at Walmart. This is a really nice one actually. It's really soft, the fabric, so it's nice and pliable. It makes a beautiful bow. Oh, that's a nice ribbon. Okay, I think I might have to go with the buffalo plaid because it's just too cute not to. So that, I think I'm going to do that. It's nice and chunky, and I think it'll look really fun with this style of finish. And then maybe a covered button for in the center. Maybe I'm going to pick apart some of these little picks that I found at the dollar store and just see if we want to put a little bit on there just for a little extra something. Let's get started with the bow. So what kind of a size do I want? So I'm just gonna I think I want something that's gonna fill up most of this space. I might leave a little, maybe we put a few little sprigs from the picks on there. So I'm just gonna kind of fold out a rough size here to kind of get an idea of how much. So something probably about that is gonna about an inch off of each side, because once it's fluffed up you're gonna lose a little bit of that spacing there as well. And then I'm trying to decide, do I want tails on this bow? I don't think I really do. I think I just want the bow. And then, like I say, maybe do a little bit of greenery underneath it or something. So that is about the size I want for my the top of my bow. So I have it folded here, and that gives me a little bit of an allowance there. I'm just gonna cut a little off of the center of this just to give me some more wiggle room. So center would be pretty much there. I'm just gonna give myself a little bit of space. All right, so I am just going to do I've got a piece of thread here, and usually I'll use like a wire or something, but I didn't pull any out, and I have thread close by. So this end is a little bit raggedy, so we're just gonna clean that up a little bit. So I'm gonna fold those ends in on themselves and kind of get an idea. Is this still about the same size I want for my bow? Looks pretty good. I'm gonna let it out just a smidge. So gather those two. So I'm gonna overlap those two and then lay this out to kind of get that overlap, the center of the overlap, roughly in the center of that bow. So I just eyeball everything. You could measure it and do it a little bit more precisely, but, and then I am just gonna gather that together. You take your wire, or in my case, a piece of thread, and I just folded the thread in half here so that I've got my loop, and I'm just gonna open that loop, grab that thread, and I'm just gonna pull that. Make sure it's in the center of my bow, and then I'm just going to pull that. And now you could, if you had a needle, you could sew that together, put a couple stitches through it just to secure it a bit more, or you could tie it off. I'm just going to wrap it around a bunch there. Probably don't want it cinched up as much as I just did, but so I'm just going to wrap it around, and then I'm going to put a dollop of glue there, and then just wrap that thread a couple more times, and then just push it down there. So now that that's all fastened, I'm going to cut that little remainder tail off. And there we have a cute little bow. I really love this fabric. It's like an actual fabric, so it's nice and soft. And it really is just looking super cute. So that is going to be our bow for on top. Yeah, I think I like that. I should have done it maybe just a bit bigger. Well, I think that's pretty good. So, like I said, this is going to be interchangeable, so I'm thinking, do I want to do a magnet option? Probably going to do a magnet for this one so that I can turn it on, or I can put it on and off. So when I change up this is going to be very specific to this matching of this. But if I want to reuse this frame, then I have the option to take the extra bow and stuff off the top there. I'm going to do a magnet on the top so that we can change it in and out. I have some different little floral pieces. We're going to try some different things and see what we come up with. And I'm thinking maybe a covered button with the pink fur on the top of the bow. So I'm going to go ahead and make that button, and then we will see how it all comes together. So for the covered button, I just get my covered buttons on Amazon. This is a larger size, so just a little over an inch. Little piece of fabric goes in your, make sure I'm in the frame here, in here, and then you just put your, so covered side or fancy side down, and then you put your button top on there and just push it into the mold. You get this little tool, so you can kind of like push that in there. Make sure it's in, and then you just kind of push your fabric into the center. I kind of use this as to push it down. I really love doing the covered buttons with a little stitch. So taking one of these flowers would have been perfect, but I did not plan ahead. And yeah, so we're just not going to do that this time around. But anyway, so I got the fabric sort of smushed in there, and then you just put the back on your button, and then again with this tool, you just push it in there. Well, you'll hear it pop. I find it's easier if I grab it and push it, but yeah, and then it's all popped in there nice and secure. And you just push your button out, and there you have your nicely covered button. So you could totally do the little stitch with a flower. It would be super cute to add that extra little detail to tie it in. And then we can put that in the center of our bow, and it just matches the background of the design, and it just adds that extra little touch. I think it's super cute. Yeah, I really like that. So we'll go with that as the center, and then we're just gonna see what we can find. These are really pretty. The green of it really kind of picks up that with the ombre of the leaf here, kind of picks up that nice bright green in there. And these as well, kind of that greener tone. And then I've got these cute little yellow buds. So I'm just gonna play around piecing some of these things together, and we'll see what we end up with. I've got some parts of that going. I'm gonna get this magnet glued on. So again, I just kind of eyeball the center of the frame. You could be more specific with it. Measure it out, but there we go. Get one magnet on there. And then I just glued some of those sprigs of the greenery on there, and now I'm just going to put the other magnet right on there, and make sure I got this going the right way. Just going to attach that. Go. I'm going to take some of these little buds. Alright, so I just added a few more of those little flowers in there. Just kind of placed them where I wanted and got them glued in. And this is kind of what we're at right now. So this is some super cute little fresh, pulls in that green, little bit of the soft yellow in there, so just adds a little extra to it. I was thinking about maybe doing something down in the corner here, a little extra, but I think I'm just gonna leave it. I don't want to overdo it. So that would be really cute, just a little sprig or two down there. No, we're just gonna leave it for today. Maybe revisit it. Oh, I think I like that, and then we'll just end with the little pink button on the center top. Do I like that? I don't know, actually. I'm not sure actually that I'm loving the pink center button. I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll do just a plaid covered button with the ribbon. Let's try that, because it's just something about it. I don't know. So So because this is such a nice fabric, I think I'm just gonna try and do a covered button with that. And let's see. Black and white polka dot. Or just keep it simple. I think black and white polka dot. Okay, let's try. All right, so yes, I like that much better. So let's just put again, so this has just got the eyelid on the back. You could sew it down, but as you know now, I like to hot glue. Everything is glued, so we are gonna keep going with the glue. All right, so that finishes up Watermelon Home. Cute little button cover and the plaid bow with a little bit of extra greenery to just kind of spring it up and make it look nice and fresh. Love how that one turned out. Like I said, this finish for $2.50. I definitely will be buying more of these boards because that is such an easy, affordable finish, and it looks absolutely perfect. You could paint these or, like I say, do a whitewash or something to tone down that wood color if you wanted to, but I love how that one turned out. So super happy with it. Absolutely cute. I will put together a little photo of that, stage it up, and show you guys what that one looks like on a display with some other things around it. I'm thinking that this would be a cute little accessory. I showed that in my last video, so something like that maybe layered in there. But yeah, we will see. Love how it turned out, and like I say, everything is interchangeable there too, so we can take it apart and put it something else in there, or we're gonna take this over to our paddle and do a paddle finish for it as well. So this was the paddle after the coat of paint, so it dried up pretty good. With these, they are of course just like the cheap particle press board stuff, not real wood. So when it does have like that faux wood finish on the front, but when it does get wet, sometimes it does give you like, there's a little bit of like the bubbling grain in there, but it goes along the board. To me, it just adds a little extra rustic to it. I'm gonna do another coat of paint on this just to try and cover up some of that writing. We're gonna have it mostly covered with stuff anyways, so I think we'll be okay. But yeah, I thought let's do something, put that on there, and then we can do, I'll just use this as an idea. Oh yeah, see how cute is that? So maybe we just use that exact same little bow, and then we could add, you know what, actually if we did that bow, and then maybe we do another ribbon on the bottom, and then maybe we do some more florals or something. See, by the time you get the stuff on there, you really don't need to worry too much about the writing that was once there. I am gonna paint the edges black and then try and do like a bit of a black distress wash over it as well, just to add a little extra, kind of like that worn grunge rustic look to it. So I'm gonna play around with this and see what we can get going. But yeah, I think something like that with a covered button in the center, use that flower and then add some greenery and some more of the flowers and stuff down here, and just kind of do a paddle finish for this one as well. I think that'll be really cute. So let's get going with that. I did a second coat of the white and then painted the edges with black. I'm gonna try and do a washy rustic black. I started a bit here. My issue is with stuff like this, I always get a little too like, want it to be perfect. So I'm gonna try to be very relaxed with it, and whatever comes, but I'm just gonna go back and forth with black and white and kind of get it to a point where I like the way it looks, because this isn't quite what I was thinking. So we're gonna play around with it a bit. I just got a couple brushes and I'm gonna, like I say, go back and forth with the black and white and see what we end up with. But with more of a dry brush. So I'm really going to dab that paint off of there as best I can and kind of do more of a dry effect. Wish me luck. Okay, so I just have a very small dab of black paint that I've been dipping my brush in. I've got a paper towel here that if I get a little too much, I'm just wiping it off on, and then just kind of trying to mimic like keep it in the flow of like a wood grain would. This isn't exactly how I was hoping. Like some parts are looking really good and I'm enjoying it, but other pieces, obviously the paint's gone on a bit thicker. I'm gonna go back and do it with white now and just kind of play back and forth until I get it to somewhere where I'm happy with. The nice thing with painting is just jump in and do it, because paint, you can always put more paint on top of more paint on top of more paint. So at the end of the day, I mean, even if I really disliked this, I don't have to use it the way I intended, and I could easily just spray paint it one solid color and we're done, we're moving on. But I think that this is still going to turn out kind of what I was hoping for. Like I said, some areas I'm enjoying, others not so much. It's picked up a mark or two of, and even of the underneath. But like I say, we're gonna have so much on top of this piece that it's just like little portions that are going to be showing. So as long as we can get it to somewhere where we're mostly happy with it, then that is what my goal is today. So let's go and put some white in and see if we can bring it back a bit. Okay, so this is where we're at now with going back with a little bit of white. It's getting there, but I still do want a little bit more of the black dry brush effect. So adding the white over top of some of the darker pieces has definitely made more of a gray tone to it. Also, this should be noted, I did not let it dry between the black to the white, so it obviously is going to mix and combine a little bit differently than if I would have just left it dry and then gone in and did the white over top. So you can do it either way. I obviously am trying to just get this video done, but if you did let it dry, you would have better coverage and less mixing to get the gray. But I'm not upset about the gray tones. I actually kind of really like it because it's giving it more of like a weathered wood look. So we're just going to continue to play and we're going to see how it all comes together. So I think I'm going to leave it at that. Is it exactly what I wanted? No, it's not perfect. I could sit here all day and play with it. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So it's got a little bit more of a, like I say, a rustic, worn look. It's definitely rustic. But yeah, I like that kind of look. So we're gonna play around with that and see what we think. Once it has everything on it, I'm gonna let it dry and then come back to it and finish it off. But I think I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Like I said, I could sit here forever and finick with it, but there's no point to, because honestly, so much of this board is going to be covered up with, like I said, sort of showed, a ribbon and flowers, and we'll do the bow and then the stitch piece on here as well. So no point fussing with it too much. Overall, I'm pretty happy with that look. So got the dark edge, and then yeah, just a little bit more of a wash. So let's finish it off and see how it all comes together. All right, so there we go. I've got that board all finished up. I just did a little bit of a flower greenery detail down here, and then I added some tails up here for the bow. So I did make this interchangeable, use that from the other display, because I do think this would be nice to do the same, another bow, just a plain one, or do some with a different, like some fall greenery that's a little bit more in the fall tones as opposed to like spring and summer with the bright cherry color there. So just wanted to have the flexibility, and like I say, that one is for our other one obviously as well too. So now it's interchangeable, but I think that's absolutely adorable how it turned out. I love the way it looks. And for the center here, I put one of those metal circles that I get on Amazon. So they're just they do have the sticky back again, but I put some hot glue down to put that in the center, and then just the magnet from our board on the back, and you can kind of place it where you want, whatever height, center it. And then again, did the same here. So for this piece, I put the metal on here, which worked really nice because it kind of gave me a space between the flower and the metal circle to kind of shove these little sprigs in here. And then it's just a nice metal surface that is magnetic, and you can kind of place that like however you want to. So there we go. And then that's the pink button that I had covered for the bow originally, and I never ended up using. I thought, let's put it in the center of the flowers. So I actually took two of the little flowers here and pulled them apart, popped the center out, so the center piece just essentially comes out, and then I just put the button in the center of the petals, layered the petals up, so made it a little extra fluffy by doing two of the flowers together, and then just glued it together and stuck it on there. And like I say, it's just on the metal disc so that you can interchange those pieces in and out, and then just glued this ribbon on the bottom and have a magnet there too. So now if we want to take this display apart, we just do that, and there we have a base, a nice base with the black and white check that'll go with a lot of different things, and then we can just make different decorative pieces to go on this part and other bows that'll work on there. And then we can decide on different whichever other seasonal finishes we want to put on that style of board. So very easy, another option, like I said, to do for the finishing. So two different ways to finish that one today. And yeah, I love how both of them came out, and it just gives you different two different looks, and like I say, you can interchange as much as you want. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and finish up the farm tier. I'm going to put it on the tier tray display here that I got ever so nicely from Paisley and Polka Dots. Julie there made this to go with my tier tray designs, and it's absolutely perfect. I'm so excited to have this. It's just going to be such a cool display piece to have in my home and be able to switch those tier trays out. I've got quite a few in the series already, and there's many, many more to come. So I am going to do a magnet on this one. I might do two just to keep it nice, and it's a bit bigger of a space, so just to keep it nice and secure on there. And then one layer of fabric, and then the piece itself. So I've gone ahead and I measured out this back board here and did my map to fit that. So I'm going to do that one with the fabric, and then we're going to go and I did this one with, I left a 1/2 inch border around that size of the frame, and then that will be for the tier tray display to go on. So it gives it just enough space to breathe on either side of the stitch, and again, top to bottom. So I am just going to use the hot glue again to fasten that one onto there, and then I will glue that one to the check, and that will be our layered up piece for here. So I'm going to go ahead and get that all put together. right, so there we go. We've got that fabric all on the mat board, and now we're going to go put the tier tray on it. All right, so with the Aida, when I stitch on Aida, I find it really easy to just kind of first off measure out wherever the closest your stitch is to the edges, because this goes up and there's a lot more space here. I just look at this layer of the tier tray and just kind of eyeball what's going to be about centered, and then spacing from side to side. So once I pull that nice and firm and get it where I want it, then I give it a nice little pinch, and then I kind of take Aida because it's a bit more easy to play with and follow the line of the stitches. The holes in the fabric, right, they kind of fold really nice, so I just kind of give it a good press all the way up and follow the grid of the fabric to get it nice and straight to what my board will fit. And then I do the same from the top, so give it kind of the same space from the base here and the top here, whatever you kind of want it to look like, and then again start there and just kind of like fold it out. So I get those edges in nice and firm just from pressing the fabric, because it does have a bit of a starchier to it. You can do the same with other fabrics too, but the Aida has a nice, you can follow that line, like the actual gridding of the fabric easy, so that you can make sure that you're on it nice and straight. And then that way you're not pulling this top part like a little bit more to the side or the other side. It's keeping everything nice and square that way. So really easy to do. And then there we go. We've got nice firm edges and corners already in place. So when we flip it over to the back, we can glue it down or stitch it, and it'll be finding its way where it wants to go naturally. So there we have it. So that's on there. That was super easy to go through and just get it on there. We've got the corners pressed down again, so minimal bulk, and yeah, very happy with how that turned out. And now we can layer it up on here and then get that onto our tier tray. So there we have it. All right, so there we have it. We've got the farm tier tray layered up on our fabric here, and then we're just going to do a magnet with the metal so that we can attach it to the display. Yeah, so I think I'm going to do 2 magnets on this one, just to kind of keep it nice and secure on there, because it is a bit of a bigger design. It'll just kind of help keep it on there a little bit more flat and secure. So we'll do 2 and then 2 metal. All right, so I'm gonna do the magnets on the board here, and then these are the little rounds that I get from Amazon, and they just come in a bag. It's funny because the bag, online and in the bag, it says on the bag it's supposed to be 9 pieces in it, and every time I've bought them I've always gotten 11, so that's fun. But anyways, these are the little, so there's just the blue is on this side to just protect that metal. It's kind of like mirrored, and then there's the sticky on this side as well. These are pretty strong stickies, but for me, I just, make sure it's not gonna move, and I just use that side and put glue on top of it. So I think I'm gonna do magnets on the board and then do these on here, and then yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so there we go. So again, this display piece is from Paisley and Polka Dots. You can find her on Instagram. I will definitely link her in the description box. These boards do come unfinished, so you do have to do the finishing yourself, but that's also nice because you can make it however you want. So if you wanted to have a colored tier tray for your displays, or do some sort of rustic finishing, super easy. You could spray paint, paint with a paintbrush, whichever you choose to do, but they are an unfinished piece that you have to do the finishing for. But yeah, I absolutely love this. So I can't wait to get it displayed in my own home and just switch the tier trays out from season to season. So for this one, I am going to go ahead and put those metal discs right on the magnets, and then I'm going to put the glue on and then put my piece in place. It'll just kind of help make sure that I'm getting those in the general idea of the magnets, the space of the magnets. There's a lot of wiggle room with these discs because of their size. They are a bit bigger than the magnets, so you do have a lot more wiggle room as far as like where and how much you want to move it around. So it's not as big of a deal, but it's nice to this is just kind of an easy way to make sure everything's going to be where I want it to be. All right, so there we go. We've got those on there too, and then the magnets, voila. Beautiful. Easy, done, ready to go. We can just swap that in and out for any other ones that we have. So this is stitched on 14 count Aida, so that is the size. If you're doing a 14 or 28 count fabric, that's what it's going to look like on this display piece. And if you do a smaller, let's see, I do have my B. So this is a 32. So I could leave that as with a bit of a white border around it. Absolutely. It would work. But that's what 32 count of the tier tray looks like on this display board. So yeah, I could leave it like that, or we could do another layer of fabric around it to finish that one off as well. So here we go. So that is our finishes for today. So we've got the farm tier and the watermelon home, both really fun and easy finishes. Like I said, this is just a simple, the tray on this really does everything for the piece. And now we can go and put this somewhere to display and get some items on there. So we have lots of play space on this display to layer up different things. In my other video, I was showing you guys to, like, you know, you got like little jars and stuff you can put on there. So I will get that put together as a little display, and you guys can see on Instagram when I post it, or in one of my next videos, I'll try and share one of the photos of it staged up. So there we have it, farm tier and watermelon home. Super fun to do these finishes with you guys today. And yeah, I look forward to doing more videos like this. Like I said, this is my first time doing this. And I think they turned out, hopefully they turned out okay. We will see when it all comes together editing. I know editing is going to be a fun thing to go ahead and do now, but yeah, hopefully they came together okay and you guys got some inspiration or ideas. Let me know in the comments what you think, if I can do things a little bit better. You want to see more details, less details, more sped up parts, whatever it is. I would love the feedback, and yeah, hopefully I'm going to get a better over-the-top filming stand so that I can have a little bit better of a view window for myself. But anyways, here we are. We did it. I hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, like the video, subscribe to my channel if you aren't already, and please, yeah, feel free to comment in the comments, reach out to me, Instagram, Facebook. I'd love to chat with you guys and know what you thought of these videos today. I hope you all take care and have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys soon. Hopefully everybody gets lots of fun stitchy time in, or gets around to finishing some of those projects that have been piling up. So take care for now, and we will talk soon. Bye. Thank you so much for watching today. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram at Erin Elizabeth Designs. And if you liked what you saw today, please subscribe and hit that like button. You can also turn on the little bell to be notified for my next video.